The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. All right, we'll take a look here at this DAX. As you can see, we've had a very, very strong rally in the DAX. As we expected, because we went down to that 1.618 expansion to the downside. But if we go just a little bit across the bay there, over there across the pond, you'll see that the actual price of the FTSE is really lagging badly. Oh, this says it's not showing? You got to be joking me, boys and girls. Let me get it up here again. We can do it for the same price. Sorry about that. I don't know. These old tech stuff just doesn't... There we go. Here's the DAX, and the other one, of course, was the FTSE. That'll get us back into business. We have some big things happening, folks. Remember, we had Simon Lee on Wednesday from Sylvius Financial. They do the hedging and stuff for the farmers. We're looking for a break in the beans. They've broken 30 cents a bushel these last 2 days. Now, the November beans are not breaking as much, of course, because they're not even the ground. They're imaginary beans. They haven't been planted yet. So watch these for breaks, folks. There's going to be something here that will be very, very dramatic, I believe, this year, because we're seeing weather patterns, you know, that we haven't seen in quite a while. You know, we had a freezing in Niagara Falls this year and some other crazy stuff, so I wouldn't be surprised to see some other weather phenomenon where we might get some extremely hot or extremely cold weather, so I would really kind of take a look at it. The bonds have not changed very much, folks. They've, you know, they went up to that level where we were expecting to go to. Let's just get this in here so we can take a quick look at it, and it'll only take me a second to get it up, hopefully. There we go. They came down. This is where we were as of Sunday, and as you'll notice, we were looking for a good rally, and we got the rally back up to 4. We made that third bottom down there, absolutely spot on, 142 3/4, and then we rallied back up to above the 144 level. And we still could be looking at that 145 level, but it's getting a little bit more difficult now because we're in this rally for 10 days now, and it's about the absolute perfect definition of the dead cat bounce. No reflection on dead cats, but that's what it looks like to me. Interest rates are going higher, folks. There's not much we can say about that. The long-term charts on these bonds and notes look extremely bearish, and that's you know, we've been saying this for a great deal of, you know, well, weeks and weeks, and I know you get tired of hearing, but we'll put up the chart here of the Treasury notes, and you'll be able to see that we were right in this area of a 120 and change, and we should get down somewhere around the 116 level. So we got about 4 handles to go, I believe. But we're extremely oversold. But actually, you know, this is a bounce because we made our bottom back on March 1st. So you have to pay attention to that it's so very, very weak. And that could mean a lot. The euro is weakening. Remember, we were talking about the fact that the euro had such a great deal of resistance up there at that area of the 124 and change. I think 124.15 is what we were looking for. And that went up to a 124.41 on one of those fast tick things, and now we're trading below 123 again. So that high is in, and that's a very nice head and shoulders pattern, folks, that we were sort of expecting, and that one worked out. By the way, we're going to have as a guest today Mr. Norm Nixon's coming in for special things on this. We have this 2 retrogrades coming in, retrograde of Jupiter, and also then we got one in Mercury coming right around the summer solstice. Wow, that's only 2 weeks away. Less than 2 weeks. Shut the front door and raise the rent. Boy, oh boy, spring is here. At least maybe this winter we'll get some respite for the people up there in the Northeast, because man, they certainly get high. You know, they certainly get hammered up there. I wouldn't want to live up in that area because I don't like cold weather very much. at all. So we'll pray that we get nice warm weather for them and they'll be able to make it through the last few days of winter here to see what's going on. Now, we got a couple of really interesting patterns that are happening today. I just wanted to bring one of them up to you because we've been watching it extremely closely. What happened to it? This is not fair. This is not fair. Shut the front door and raise the rent. Doggone it. Oh, anyway, I'll put the S&P up. We can take a look at that because we've got a really interesting pattern forming here. We've got a Gartley pattern coming in here around this 2760 level. This is the new contract now, folks. We've switched over from March to June. So you want to go to the M month because the March will be dropping open interest very, very quickly. In fact, your brokerage firms have already probably alerted that to you. So keep in mind that this is a 7-day rally that we're in right now. We bottomed on the 2nd. And so this is pretty much where we should come to, not much more than this. If we get much above 2770, then this is going to tell you that we're probably going to go up and make a little bit higher high, maybe even a much bigger higher high. And remember, the strongest is the NASDAQ, followed by the S&P 500, and then the Russell, and then the last one that's been lagging has been the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So those are a few of the things to keep in mind. The jobs report, I don't even know what it was, but evidently it was friendly to the stocks. The gold sold off a little bit, went right down to that area we were looking at around that 1313 level, and so far has held that, but you know, it still could go a little bit lower. I still think that gold and silver are headed lower. I don't know when that bottom is going to come in, but when it does, I think it's going to be one of the best and low risk trading opportunities that we've seen in a very, very long time. So we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll see you know, what happens with this as we move through these next few days into this time of the equinox. These equinoxes are very, very important, folks, because they were on tablets, you know, going back to the Sumerians and Babylonians. That's 5 and 7 and 8,000 BC. This was some of the things that Dr. Andrew Lowe from MIT reported in his book, The Evolution of Technical Analysis. So they were using it many, many years ago, and of course Norm Winsky happens to use it too, so maybe Norm was reincarnated a few years ago, maybe more than once, who knows. Anyway, we'll see what goes on with that a little bit later. Now, one of the things someone's mentioned was about Bitcoin. I wanted to bring the chart up here on Bitcoin because this chart, you know, it really trades really beautifully. We're now trading below 8,000, so we're completing an ABCD pattern. The 61% retracement on Bitcoin will come in at 8,500. So watch that, because that's going to be the first really Gartley pattern that we've had since the bottom was formed back on February the 6th. That will be the Gartley pattern that we've had. In fact, we're forming it right now because we're below the sea level. 877-927-6648.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we're taking a look at the short-term picture of gold here, looking at this 30-minute chart. We had a really nice Gartley down there at that 1313 level. So far, it's held. Anything below the 1309 level would mean this is a failure, and we're going to continue to go down lower. I've had a request from two people to cover gold on a longer-term basis. Yesterday, I was visiting with my very best friend, Byron Tucker, and our old trading buddy, Scott Slutsky, from back at the Merck. Scott was a second-generation trader at the Merck. His father actually ran the Swiss franc pit. They were all friends with Leo Malamed back in those days. But, boy, the story, I laughed so hard yesterday, folks. I'll tell you, some of the things that we talked about and remembered were really priceless. And, you know, some of them I can't share, but others, you know, we certainly will try to over a period of time. I'll try to get Byron back as a guest. But the main thing I wanted to talk about now is the long-term picture in gold. Let's just take a quick look at it here. Going back from the low that we made way back in 2001, when we hit, I think 263 was the low in gold at that point. Now, that was down from a high of 865 back in January of 1980. Now, the break in January of 1980, the market went from 800. I mean, it really tanked. I mean, it gave up more than 50% in a matter of about a year. Then bounced a little bit and then continued to drop for the next 20 years. But if you look at this chart today, where we are on the long-term, weekly chart here, this happens to be a, yes, this is a long-term weekly. And if you'll look at this, you'll note, is this a monthly? It's a monthly chart, boys and girls. Yep, it's a monthly chart. But the low we made in 2000, and then 12 years later, we made a high at the high was actually 1931, I believe, per ounce. And then we broke down, rallied up to a Fibonacci retracement at 1768. Then the market broke down and made a 50% retracement of the low from 2001, excuse me. And it also made a perfect 78% retracement, almost perfect. It missed, well, it's not even that perfect. It missed it by more than $50, so that's far from being perfect. But it did make a 50% retracement of the whole move. And you notice we've been doing this ABCD structure through here, for the past year since we bottomed in December at the 1030 level, which was a really big spot, and we rallied over $300 an ounce, and now we're consolidating in this area. But I believe that the long-term picture on gold, looking at this chart, is still very, very bullish. Anything above 1400, you're going to be looking at a pretty big move. Granted, that's more than $80 higher than where it is right now. But if that does happen, this has a potential. Hey, boys and girls, or ladies and gentlemen, I should say, if Bitcoin can go to 20,000, gold could go to 3,000. So once these markets go, you saw what happened in 2008. We went from 720. I think it was the low just taken out 700, and we went from 700 to 1900 over a period of the next year and a half. So these markets, when they take off, they really go. But it's got a chance. It hasn't happened yet, and I bored you to death with the silver, so I'm not even going to go into that. But this is not a bearish chart long term, in my opinion. I believe that this has still has some really bullish applications here. If this were really bearish, the rally that we had a few months ago in the late 2017, that market would have come apart by then, and it did not. All it did was make a 61% retracement, and that tells us, we're looking at something that could be, very, very interesting. We have another question about the natural gas. The natural gas is still moving higher. We had that bottom that Mr. Z pointed out to us a few days ago. Down around that 256 level. We're now around 274. So that's pretty big move. And the price objective on that run would take you up to around 288 to 290 in the natural gas. Regarding the U.S. dollar, one of the things that we were looking at in the letter this past weekend was to take a look to see what the U.S. dollar should do when we come into the next correction. And if we take a quick look at it, you notice that what we were looking for was the U.S. dollar to come down to the 89.30 level. Boys and girls, that was the low the day before yesterday. The exact low was 89.30, and it held on just absolutely perfectly. Well, that was basically the mirror image of that chart that we looked at with the euro at the 124 and change. It was, because the dollar index is 53% weighted by the euro, and so that's what you're looking at when you're watching some of these things. They don't work all the time, but when they do work, they work relatively well, and that's the whole key, to looking at some of these things, is remember that they are pretty much spot on of what we're looking at. Now, I wanted to mention one other thing, because we've had our friend Bill Meridian on, and he made a nice comment about the hold on one second, about March 2nd being a key trading date in the S&P. And you'll notice here, the 9th, this is where we are today. So we're rallying. So be aware, this might be a trend and change in trend day based on what Bill's work is showing. And we've got this Gartley completing up here. So we'll see if that's going to be the case. Another question about the greens. Someone's asking a question. Repeat this stuff for the euro. All I said on the euro was that we had made that beautiful pattern that we were looking for up at that 124. I'll post the chart here again because this is a pretty important one to look at. Give me a second here. Hold on here, and then we'll answer Danny's question about the gold. And Danny is asking us, let's see what his question is. If 15 is target in silver, what is a downside target for gold? I think the gold could get down to right around $1,200 an ounce, Danny. That's my guess. The reason why I'm saying that would be a $7,500 drop in silver to get to where it is right now. And if we were to drop $7,500 from gold from where it is right now, that would take us down to about 1240. But there's a big number down there just above 1200, so that could possibly do that. And it could do it in washout fashion. In other words, really scare the bejeebies, out of the longs. And but you got to pay attention to it because it's got the possibility of being something, is really, really good. So keep in mind that this has got a bullish bias in this gold for sure. It really does. That's the main thing. Another question we have about the grains, folks. You can't predict the weather. As Simon only said, you can't predict the weather past about 5 days. There's been some respite of the drought in Argentina. They got a little bit of rain that sold the beans off about 30 cents, a little in corn, but it's just starting. We got the planting intentions report comes out on March 31st. We'll have Cy on shortly thereafter, and also have Rich Anderson talking about it as we get into that area, but we're still a little farther away in that. But we'll have Norm Winsky coming up in just a few minutes, and he will give you some of his good information. We'll talk a little bit about the retrograde motion of these planets. That it's not an easy thing to describe, but that's in fact what happens. So stay tuned. We're going to pay a few bills here. So live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we have our friend Norm Winsky from Astro-trend on the line. Norman, are you there?
Yes, sir, Larry. How's it going?
Well, everything's good. Every day above ground is a good day. Stay away from open graves. Listen, my friend, why don't you go ahead and take over the show? And if we have any questions come in, I hear one question has already come in, is to please explain retrograde motion once again and what it means.
I will do that in a few minutes.
Okay.
When we get to the forward-looking part of my presentation, okay?
You got it.
Because that's what's happening right now. But I want to first review that I was on your show on February 28th to alert the folks that there was a full moon coming up the night of March 1. That was at 7:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I told the folks that there was a full moon, and the moon would be in Virgo. You get a full moon when the moon and sun are relative to the Earth opposite each other. The sun was in Pisces, the moon's in Virgo. We have our usual suspects on any full moon, new moon for financials, grains, and precious metals. And then because it was the full moon was in Virgo, we would also be looking at soybeans. And because the sun was in Pisces, we want to look at oil. So there we go. So now we're going to review the different markets indicated by that full moon. So here's your S&P. I have on the chart on the screen there. The S&P, I have the arrow for the low occurred on the morning of March the 2nd, right after the full moon. Right on the opening there was the low at 26.47.32 on the S&P cash. Here's your T-bonds. They made their high on the 2nd at 6 in the morning. Okay. Here's your dollar. It also made a turn there at 10 o'clock at night on March the 1st, just a couple hours after the exact full moon. Here's gold. Gold made its low at 10 o'clock at night on March the 1st, again, just a couple hours after the full moon. Here's your soybeans. Let's talk about Argentina. Oh my God, the weather's awful in Argentina. Well, what's going to happen? Who cares? Look at the full moon here. March the 2nd, right at midnight, just a few hours after the full moon, the market tops, right? We don't care about the weather. Don't look at the news. It only will confuse. If you trade the news, you will lose. Okay?
You're a poet and don't know it. You make it rhyme every time.
Hey, there you go, Larry. All right, so here's your crude oil. I mentioned oil, and there we go, 9 o'clock in the morning on March the 2nd. There's your low on the crude oil. Can it get any easier, Larry? I don't know. Right? You don't have to look at the news. You don't have to hire a drone to check the crops. None of that. Forget it. All you got to know is look at the market. Is it moving up to a high, moving to a low, and what's going on with the planets? That's it. The key dates. The key times will give you the key prices, Larry.
Yeah, but how do you explain to a banker that you're going to be planting your crops based on what the moon is doing?
Well,
keep going. I know. I'm just teasing you, Norman. Go ahead, my friend.
Well, if you do it like Gann, then you wrap it up in some cryptic language, you know.
Oh, okay.
There you go. It's mathematics, right? Call it something else, right? All right, anyway, now we'll look ahead. And so now it's time to talk about Jupiter turning retrograde. So for all the newbies out there that don't know about retrogrades and direct, due to the relative motion of the Earth, let me give you a practical example. You're driving in your car, you're doing 60 miles an hour on the highway. You look at your speedometer and it says, hey, you're doing 60 miles an hour. Then you look out your side window and all of a sudden you have the impression, the sensation that you're going backwards. What happened? Somebody's passing you doing 70. Most of you have had that experience. And so that's what's happening. All the planets individually are going around the sun at different speeds. So sometimes we're passing a planet or they're passing us, and we look out in the night sky there, and all of a sudden it looks like a planet momentarily stops its motion and then changes its direction. It stops to go forward or stops to go backwards. We know that if looking down at our solar system, they're physically not doing that. However, they are doing that relative to the Earth. And Mr. Einstein would tell you relative motion is a big deal. So that's in our relative position to these other planets is shifting. And I believe that there's some sort of energy wave that hits the Earth. And here's my principle now. When the planets change trend, the markets change trend, okay? So when we get an important planetary event, so we have something called a station point. There's two kinds of station points. One, a station point is when a planet appears. That's the key word, appears, to stop its motion. It only does that momentarily, and it'll stop to either go forward, which is direct, or go backwards, called a retrograde, okay? So last night, I should say, Jupiter was in Scorpio and turned retrograde. And so therefore we want to look at those markets connected with Scorpio. And Jupiter is oats, and nobody trades oats, so I'm not going to even talk too much about that. You know, if you got a small account, don't have anything else to do, you can trade oats, but it's pretty thin. So, you know, it's mostly for horses, you know. So here's your cocoa. I have to list it, though, because it's all part of the methodology. Cocoa, hogs, oats, stocks, and T-bonds. Let's look at the big four there, cocoa, hogs, stocks, and T-bonds. Also coming up over the weekend, we have the moon's north node going to hit an important point for the U.S., so that implies your U.S. financials, U.S. stocks, T-bonds, dollar. And then we also have more of the same on Monday after the close and so forth. So we're going to look ahead now what's coming up immediately. Look at this. Today, March the 9th, is, again, another indication for a change in trend for the stock market. We got 12,996 days. That's if you take 114 and square it. Again, love square numbers. So 12,996 is a square number. That's 114 squared. From, you know this date, Larry, August the 9th, 1982. There you go. That's today, 12,996 days. That's 114 squared from the August 9th, 1982 low. And then coming up here, we also have, I think there's another one with those two. Oh, here's another one. We have March. No, that comes up on the 17th. Anyway, we have confirmation with one other with my market math there for today as a key date. We also have the Jupiter turning retrograde last night, so that gives you an astro date for the 9th of March. Okay. So looking ahead here now, here's some charts. Here's your cocoa has been going up, up, up. I would be if you're long this cocoa, I would be looking to maybe raise your stop, and maybe if it get a nice spike here today, maybe look to go short. You know, could be a short-term top or something on the cocoa. Hogs, as you mentioned, have been going down, down, down. Hogs are looking for the trough, Larry. Little hog humor there, Larry.
I got it.
And so we might be looking at a low here on the hogs, you know. And T-bonds, these are all Astro cousins, you know. And so T-bonds, they're spiking down on the jobs report there. And so look at that. There's a nice trend line there. And hogs, these are charts that are as of last night, pre-jobs report. The bonds have spiked down a little bit on the jobs report. If they get down to this green line here, you might be looking at a low there about, let's see, it's June bonds, so down around the just above 143 area, right? I think we're about right there now, you know.
Pretty close. We've got to pay a few bills, Norm. Can you stay with us?
Absolutely.
Got a couple questions coming back.
Yes, sir.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Think or Swim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour, brought to you by Nadex. Next on TFNN.
Okay, we're back, folks. We've got a caller from New York is asking a question, Norm, about the relative strength of the moon because it's a satellite, it's not a planet, whereas Mercury, being the smallest planet, does it have more influence on the markets than the moon?
Different bodies, the moon and the full moon, new moon, tend to influence many of the markets. I listed the categories that tend to respond best to the moon. That was back here in the beginning. I said financials, grains, and precious metals. And so that's our usual suspects we look at during the new moon and full moon. And different planets are associated with different markets.
Mm-hmm. Now, is that due to the gravitational effect of the moon? And
I don't know. We're getting astrophysics. I didn't.
Okay. We didn't cover that in Terre Haute Schulte High School. So let's move on to.
I didn't take that class.
All right. Go ahead, Norm. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that was one question. All I know is
I look at these charts, and it's pretty simple. Every one of these markets turned within about 12 hours or less of the full moon. So you're overthinking it. Who cares, right?
Yeah.
This is how do you make money? That's what it is.
It's making money. It's not about thinking. That's for sure. Yeah, that's the bottom line. Yeah.
Maybe when the markets are closed, you can go off on the theory and stuff. Anyway, let's look at coming up here Monday, Tuesday. We have some more changes and trends due for. We have stocks, T-bonds, U.S. dollar. We have another thing happening here with involving Jupiter and Neptune. So that's also your cocoa, hogs, oats, oil, stocks, and T-bonds. And some of those overlap into, I think, 13th is Tuesday. And so, again, cocoa, coffee, hogs. So a big cluster of things for your Scorpio markets are cocoa, hogs, and T-bonds. So something big is happening for those three markets here over the next several trading days, okay?
Okay.
So here's your cocoa. We did the cocoa chart. There's your hog chart. There's your T-bonds. We did those. Here's your S&P. All right, the one I haven't really talked much about shown is the crude oil. Here's your crude oil chart here. And you can see the crude oil has been coming down. So look for by Monday, Tuesday, something could be making some kind of turn there in the crude oil. Okay?
All righty.
I appreciate people calling in, but you can
I have one other question, but I might as well give it to you now. They would like your opinion on the gold market as we set today. Do you have an opinion on the gold?
I got a small change in trend due over the weekend in gold. That's pretty much it. Not one of my top picks, Here, hey Larry, I think we might have got a couple extra minutes here. Let's talk about weather and grains. Remember in the early 90s when we had the 500-year flood in the Midwest? The Mississippi River was overflooded its banks for miles and miles, and they said, "Oh my God, the grain prices are going to the moon," and they didn't. And they went nowhere.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I remember that very well. I've been following this lunar stuff. Yeah.
For hundreds of miles, the fields were underwater, and they said, "Oh my God, there's no crops," and the grains went nowhere.
Wow.
Remember that? Yeah, that's what happens when you trade the news, right? So there you go. All right. Anyway, so now I'd be happy to take any questions. Any got any more questions out there?
Well, the question was about the short term. You mentioned you answered the question about the short term turn for gold, which what they were interested in. But the question that he had was he's interested in the price that you're looking at that level. Do you go to your Fibonacci numbers, or how do you determine what that price would be?
The key dates will give you the key prices, just like I just showed on these full moons here. When you get to that time window, you'll know what the price is. The time will give you the price.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about predicting the price.
All right, he's asking the specific time in gold. He wants that specific time. Can you do that?
It's over the weekend. It's going to be between somewhere usually somewhere near the opening on Monday. But, here's a lesson.
There you go. That's opening on Monday. That's a good one. Yeah. Okay.
Part of my methodology is that the planets tell you what to look at and when to look at it. Okay? So I got these markets here that I told you, these are the markets you want to be looking at. There's nothing here that says you should be looking at gold. That's not one of my top picks.
I understand. Yep.
Okay. So just, people pick these markets because they like them. Oh, that gold, it's glittery and shiny. I like that.
Yeah.
That's the way to lose money. The human brain is wired to lose money. I believe that. The CME study, you remember, 95% of the people are not making money because they're making subjective decisions. You need objective indicators to tell you what to trade and when to trade it, and then you need good risk management, and then you can make money. Right?
Okay. All right.
So, if you're picking things because you like them, you're in trouble. Right? You should have objective indicators to tell you what to look at and when to look at it.
Wow.
Okay. You agree with that, or?
Yeah, yes, I absolutely agree with it. I mean, I agree with everything you're saying. I don't. It's Mother God and country. Norm, hey, you've been giving us some great stuff. I mean, it's a little esoteric for some people, but I've been dabbling in it in a while, and I've seen some spectacular things happen. I've also seen some duds, but like my grandpa said, you got to kiss a few frogs to find a princess, and you're the prince of the day. So continue on, my friend. You got a couple of minutes here. Tell us about your course coming up, and because this is the beginning of the month, you still might have some space.
Possibly. I kind of. You'd have to call me right away. Maybe I could squeeze you in early this coming week. If they call me right away. Otherwise, we'll have to bump you get in the line for April. Yeah. So I have the free class. You get the free letter, the free class. I'm going to take you through, give away a lot of my secrets. 50 years of experience. I started studying the stock market when I was 15 years old. I'm 67 now, and I was investing while I was in college, making money, and that led to my buying a seat on the Chicago Board Options Exchange in 1975, right near just past the bottom of the market in December of '74. And I've been doing this a long time. I started studying astrology in the early 70s, right? So there you go. Based on Larry, I stumbled across the Bradley book in a bookstore down there at Honey Creek Square.
Oh my gosh, who would have ever thought?
Down there, I looked down there. I was shopping there at the shopping center, waiting, and then I had time to kill before the bus took me back to campus there, downtown Terre Haute. And so I went in the bookstore there, the Croc and Britannos. Thank God for Crocs, Croc and Britannos. Sure. And I looked down near the floor there, and there was a skinny little book all by itself. I'd been studying astrology. I'd been studying the stock market on parallel tracks, but didn't know how to connect them together. I thought they should be linked together because both are all about psychology. And I looked down and see the skinny little book down by the floor all by itself. I pick it up. It's Donald Bradley's Stock Market Prediction. I opened the cover, inside front page. It was marked $1. Struck out. Marked down to 10 cents. Struck out the dollar and marked down to 10 cents, Larry.
Yeah. Hey, Norm, we're going to have to pay a few bills. But when you come back, could you stay with us? I'd like for you to tell us a story about the egg of Columbus. I remember the guys were talking about that. Oh, this was 30 years ago when it was a rare book and everything. Let's talk about that when we get.
It was kind of a bubble deal,
Oh boy, that was the Bitcoin of the era.
Exactly.
Anyway, we're going to pay a few bills here, and what's your phone number again? If people want to talk to you, it's 239.
2395-943939. My email and phone are on the screen now. Okay, nwinsky@embarkmail.com. I got my Skype, nwarm.winsky, norm.winski.
Okay, we'll be right back with Norm Winski of Astro-trends.
You don't buy into that nonsense, do you? You know you can't time the markets. I didn't. And in 2006, I set out on a mission to do just that. I began by surrounding myself with the greats like Tom O'Brien, Larry Pesavento, David White, and Basil Chapman. I read countless books and even looked to the moon and planets for answers. Now, we both know that trading is 80% mental. So I learned the exact tools that Tony Robbins uses to overcome fear. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability. And last March, the folks at Timers Digest began tracking my newsletter signals, which through January 18, 2018, placed me as the #1 gold timer for that exact time frame. Now, I can't officially be recognized until Timers Digest has a full year of signals, but clearly I've learned how to time the markets, and I'd like to teach you how to do that as well. Subscribers to Mastering Probability gain access to my live and archive workshops where I show you the exact same patterns that earned me this #1 ranking. If you're looking for great market calls and an education, sign up for Mastering Probability today at TFNN.com.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
We're back, folks. We're talking with Norm Winski, and we were talking about a situation back in 1988 and 89. Everybody was searching for this rare book by George Baer called The Egg of Columbus. You want to tell the story about it, Norm? Go ahead.
My knowledge is I had a client call me up and say he was looking for this book, The Egg of Columbus. The only place I could think of that might have it was, what was that bookstore out in L.A., the Books of Wall Street, Don Mack and his partner?
Yeah, that was, no, the Investment Center bookstore. Yeah, it was Don Mack, yes.
Right, and I don't think Don Mack was away, and his buddy there, his partner, was answering the phone. He said, I can get you that book, but you're going to have to fly out here with a briefcase with $25,000 in it.
Yeah, that was Jerry Baumling. I remember that.
As you might guess, Larry, I'm very careful about money, and so I took a pass on that.
As a matter of fact,
most things go of that nature, if you wait long enough, you'll get it for a lot cheaper, and that's what happened. Right?
I put it in my newsletter, and about a week later, I had 4 copies from all over the world, one from London, one from Italy, and 2 from the United States, showing where we were setting it a free book of The Egg of Columbus. So it was really a whole lot easier. So that was really quite fun.
So hopefully you were able to crack the egg, Larry, and you didn't end up with the...
Oh, yeah, I developed all the secrets. Norm, the question that I have for you, when you want to come on again, because we've got a new moon coming up here.
Right. Oh, if it's okay, Larry, I'd like to come on next Friday on the 16th.
I think we should have you on there. I think it'd be good because you always give us some good turning dates.
I got another big window there. Not only a new moon, but I got other big stuff happening there.
And also, Norm, if you're wrong, they can throw vegetables at you. And, vegetable salads are good, too. You know that.
I'm not a big veggie fan, but that's okay. Yeah. Maybe throw some steak at me, too. That'd be good.
There you go. That sounds good. Anyway, we'll have you on again soon. We'll plan on it for the 16th, okay?
All righty.
Bet. Have a nice weekend, Norm.
Call me right away today. Call me today. Okay, thank you.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold,